Here's Tim.
Thank you so much, Chris. Oh, there's an outbreak of applause, nearly. So welcome to our first annual church summit. It sort of feels grown up, doesn't it? Church summit, yeah. You expect President Biden to walk through the door. Anyway, he's not coming. I don't think he's coming. He might be. It's great to be here, and yeah, thank you very, very much for the amazing meal. Thank you for coming. I know it's hard to come out on a weekday night. I really, as with the leadership has prayed about tonight, we really felt it was important to gather together in this, as we approach our 10th year birthday this September. We're going to have a couple of times where we just felt we need to gather together and hear from the Lord together and figure out again what is the Lord calling us to. So I'm going to try and lay that out. I want us to think about our name. Love Church is the name of this family. What's in a name? My name is Timothy John Matthews. I scored a hat trick. All three of my names are in the Bible. My parents wanted that for me. They wanted me to have a name that's in the Bible. And Timotheos means one who honors God. And I hope I live up to that. We named our dog Monty. Here's Monty. I don't know what Monty means, and it's definitely not in the Bible. I like to think that we named him Monty because there's a character, it's a dog in one of my favorite books, a classic piece of English literature, Three Men in a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome. The dog's called Montmorency. And I thought, that might be quite nice to name a dog. It sort of sounds quite elite, quite educated, quite, knowing nod to the literati. Basically, everything that's bad about me is what spoke into that name. The reality is that's not why we named him. He was a lockdown dog. And at that time, we'd been spending a lot of time in the garden, watching old copies of Gardener's World. And of course, who presents it? Monty Don. And when you think about it, they kind of got the same hairstyle. So, it could have been worse. Actually, this true story, I heard of someone who named their dog Vicar. Vicar. But the problem was, it was quite a bad dog, a naughty dog. Ill-behaved, out in public, even in the garden late at night. They could be heard shouting from their back door, "Vicar, get in here now. Vicar, get off that. Oh, Vicar, put that down. That is disgusting. Vicar, stop it." What's in a name? What's in our name? Love Church. As I say, we are 10 years old. And it's a great moment for us to review our vision, to ensure that we're still doing what God is asking us to do. And say to God, "God, are we done? Maybe we're done." I don't think so. There's over 500,000 people who live now in BCP, and most of them don't know Jesus. Quite a few of them are in deep distress as a result. And if God is still calling us to reach them, we can persevere, knowing that we're on the right track. And right from the start, I remember being stood exactly here saying this nearly 10 years ago. Right from the start, we felt we're not called here to come and try and do what the existing churches were already doing in the Church of England. No, we were called to come here and try and reach people who thought that church was for someone else. The non-religious types. The types who really couldn't see themselves in church. Or they thought that if they did try and go to church, they wouldn't be welcome because they weren't religious, churchy types. They didn't understand the rules. And so we felt we were here for people who didn't believe or know God at all. Maybe even worse, they thought that God was somehow against them. Or if he did exist, he'd sort of forgotten all about them. And we knew that the only way to counter such a negative preconception about who God might be, if indeed God did exist, was love. was love, to give people an experience, a taste of what it might be to know God before they knew him. And so we decided right from the start we wanted to be famous for love, and several people had prophetic words about that. And we felt then, as we feel now, that there's so many people who don't know God is real, and he's good, and he loves you. He's not far off or distant or unknowable or wrathful or full of anger about what you've done. He loves you. He wants to know you. And one of the guys in the summer of 2014 who I met in the run-up, this is before we'd started, this was back in July 2014, we didn't start until September. One of the people I met, a couple I met, called Andy and Beryl Bye. And Beryl said, if you need anything building, anything making for the church, Andy's quite handy. Handy Andy. And indeed, he was handy. And I shared with him this vision. I said, Andy, I've just got this idea. We want to be famous for love. What about if we had some, like those kind of big letters spelling out love, maybe with some bulbs in them? He said, oh yeah, I can do that. And he brought them around. And these are the letters that Andy built back in 2014. And they were there at the launch. Here's a photo of that was the launch service. And you know what? We did become famous for love. I think we became famous for lunch as well. We grew very quickly, and then we appeared in the Times newspaper later on in our first year. We were famous for love. And we began sort of really leaning into this and thinking, that's right, that's what the Lord wants for us. Our very first Facebook banner was this, the Facebook banner page. We were St. Swithin's back then, we hadn't converted into Love Church. St. Swithin's, Bournemouth, and we said we love God, we love people, and we love life. And that's why we're still here. As a leadership team, have prayed and thought and researched all about this vision, refreshing this, we can't get, I'm not trying to get away from it, but we can't get away from this. It seems to define so much of who we are, that we love God, we love people, and we love life. That's what it means to be Love Church. And I want to talk a little bit about that tonight. Before I do, I want to assure you, some of you may recall that we also defined our culture. And do you remember we said we wanted to be real, R-E-A-L. We wanted to be relational. That means living out our faith with others through our love for one another, taking time to listen patiently to one another, acting courageously and encouraging everybody. We wanted to be evangelistic. That's always talking about Jesus. We don't want to do anything that isn't holding out the gospel of Jesus to people. Adventurous. Some people said, what's adventure about? Adventure means understanding that life has its ups and downs, and that Jesus is with us through our failures, through the tough times, through all those things. When things go wrong, we need others around us to pick us up and encourage us. Together, we're on an adventure. We always used to say, if you're up, good for you. Find someone who's down and encourage them, because you know what? Next week, it's going to switch roles and you're going to need someone, and you reap what you sow. Find someone to encourage when you're up, and there'll be someone there for you when you need it. And then L was all about learning. We study scripture together. We learn about ourselves, about God, and apply that to our lives. And I want to assure you, as we talk about vision tonight, these cultural values are still ongoing. They're going to go through everything that we talk about. It's why I think our culture, one of the things that it's like tonight, or think about when we're away as a church at Burnbake on the Family Fun Day. It's really our culture that we experience. It's not the vision so much, it's the culture that we share, real. I think it's so important. That said, we said at the start, and I sort of still feel now, if we had to shut down everything else, let's say we totally ran out of money and we couldn't do anything, what would we still try and do? Well, we'd probably keep a Sunday service going. We'd certainly keep the Connect groups in homes going. And then the last thing we would cut would be Alpha. Why? Because we're evangelistic. We hold out the gospel. That's what we do. We love God, we love people, we love life. Now, thank God, that's not the bare minimum we're down to. There is so much else going on. And the first thing I wanted to do tonight for us, I mean, you guys, you are the heart of the church. That's why you've come here. You're in. And the first thing I wanted us to do was celebrate, actually, the life and to thank all of you for the amazing work of God that's going on. So in a moment, we're going to thank God in prayer with one another. We've always said this, the Bible says we enter his courts with thanksgiving in our hearts. It's the way into the heart of God is to give thanks, always. And there's so much to give thanks for. I asked all the ministry heads to record a quick little video for us, and we stitched them together. We chose the bins outside the Tudor Hall as a sort of nice backdrop. You'll see that. And some very unhelpful cars drove past, and you'll hear in the background some people being welcomed into church at one point. But don't worry about it. This is the ministry leaders just pouring out their hearts in thanks to you all and in encouragement to you. So here's a message from our ministry leaders.
LOVECHURCH, and our vision is about setting children's hearts on fire for Jesus. And I'm going to talk about three things that we've seen God do this year. First of all, we've seen children grow in relationship with Jesus, as we've taught them about God's word, as they have worshipped and they've listened to God and they've encountered him. Secondly, they've grown in relationships with each other. One of the ways we really encourage that is through Ignite, which we launched a year ago this month, and we've seen the children really grow in friendship with each other. Last of all, we are passionate about outreach. We want to reach out to children and families. And we had a light party, and we saw over 300 families attend that light party. And tomorrow we are launching our Inspire Play Cafe. We're going to reach out to many families and children with the love of Jesus. And we can do all of this without a wonderful team of people who've seen our team grow, who've seen them serve, and we've seen them teach about Jesus. And we want to say an incredible thank you to you. Couldn't do it without you.
Hello everyone, I am Sophie and I am the youth pastor here at LOVECHURCH. I wanted to share with you three things that I'm celebrating at this very moment. So the first thing would be the fact that the youth is growing. It always grows and it amazes me. God always brings new people, so I'm super thankful for that and the work that God's doing in the hearts of our young people. I'm celebrating the amazing team that we've got in the kitchen. On Wednesday nights, a group of beautiful mums serving the young people, so really grateful for that. And this year in August we're going to Satellites, a Christian Youth Summer Festival. We've already got 30 kids signed up, which is amazing. It just shows what God's doing here at LOVECHURCH, and so I'm just really grateful to Jesus for all that he's doing. And lastly, I want to say thank you to my amazing youth team. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much for everything you do, all the time you serve, and all the love you give to the young people. You are amazing.
Hello there, my name is Charles. I'm part of the team here at LOVECHURCH, and I am the students and young adults pastor. I'm here to talk to you about three things that I'm thankful for in the last term. First thing I'm thankful for is all of the salvations, all of the young people who have come to know Jesus Christ as their Lord and Saviour. That's amazing. Plus the baptisms that we've seen happen here at LOVECHURCH at the evening service with young people, students and adults, young adults getting baptized. That's amazing. growth of the team, not just in numbers, but spiritually, in depth, and all that stuff. We are so happy to be raising leaders within the students and young adults community. And the final thing I'm thankful for is my team. I'm so grateful for my team. I'm so thankful for all of the energy, all of the time, the effort, the resource that they bring to the table. And I'm so thankful for that. I can't wait to see God do all of the great stuff that He's going to do in the coming weeks, years, and months. And we want to do it with you. Yeah? So come join us. If you're thinking about joining the team, I shouldn't have put the plug in, but I'm going to do it. If you're thinking about joining the team, join SYA. Thank you.
Hi Church, I'm Kate Packer, and I'm the Parish Safeguarding Officer for St Clement's and St Swithin's. I'd like to tell you briefly about safeguarding at Love Church. We work with and under the safeguarding team at Winchester Diocese, and we follow the guidelines of the House of Bishops. In the words of the House of Bishops, the Church of England is called to share the good news of God's salvation through Jesus Christ. The good news speaks of welcome for all, with particular regard for those who are most vulnerable, into a community where the value and dignity of every human being is affirmed, and those in positions of responsibility are truly trustworthy. Being faithful to our call to share the gospel therefore compels us to take with the utmost seriousness the challenge of preventing abuse from happening and responding well where it has. To respond to this, at Love Church we have a team comprising all the clergy and me, who meet regularly to ensure that all the processes are working and to discuss referrals that have been made. All roles that carry out regulated activity are DBS checked, as are all staff. Every volunteer involved at Love Church, new volunteers and those who have been serving a long time, is asked to go through safe recruiting and to do safeguarding training, as we believe that it's really important that everyone has awareness of how to stop any safeguarding risks and how to deal with issues that come up. I'd encourage every member of the church to take hold of the call to look after the vulnerable, look after the children, and to be aware of their needs and to listen out for them. If you ever have any concerns, or if anyone ever talks to you about potential abuse, please don't ignore it. Or please don't be worried about raising it. You can talk to any of the clergy or to me, and contact details are on the posters up in the church. The House of Bishops have highlighted safeguarding as taking priority above everything the church does, and we can all be a part of making sure that happens. Thanks.
Hi guys, my name's Glenn. If we've never met before, I'm part of the clergy team here at Love Church, splitting my time between St Swithin's and St Clement's, looking at primarily Alpha and our Connect groups. The privilege that I have of looking after Alpha means that I've got 3 highlights over this last year to share with you. Over the last year, we've run 3 Alpha courses. Across the year, we've had 3 concurrent courses over this last term, and we've had over 150 people come and explore and experience Alpha, which is incredible, but there's still more to do. The second highlight that I want to bring to your attention is the fact that we are planting Connect groups every single time. And this is great because it feeds into our discipleship, and we're seeing so many people come to faith. It's been an incredible privilege. I've also personally had the privilege of baptising 5 people as a result of Alpha over this last year, and I look forward to so many more. And we couldn't do it without you. So I just want to say, personal and church perspective, I just want to say a massive thank you to you and to all those that have prayerfully supported us, financially supported us, and just being available by giving your time and volunteering at Alpha. We couldn't do it without you. See you next time.
Good evening, church. My name is Lewis, and I am the worship pastor, and I am joining you live from Tyrone, Georgia, suburbs of Atlanta. It is lovely, let me tell you. I oversee worship ministry, and I also oversee the Bournemouth leadership program, and I want to celebrate 3 things in the life of the church this past year. I want to celebrate the growth and development in the team. We've seen some really great people come through and develop as leaders and worshippers. We are also celebrating a really positive Christmas and Easter period. We saw some great services happen. And also, as I mentioned earlier, the Bournemouth leadership program is our kind of revamped internship. We've put a lot of hard work and hard thought into what we want it to be, and we're really, really excited and proud of it. And so I want to celebrate those three things. And lastly, I just want to give a massive, massive shout out to anyone who has served or currently serves on our worship team. What we do here, we could not do it without you. You help lead people into God's presence, and we are so, so thankful for you. And so we want to say a massive thank you, and we look forward to continuing journeying with you.
There you go. There's so much going on. I said to all of them, I said, look, you've got to be really short. Just give us three things really short. They were like, there's no way I could talk all day. I was like, I know you could talk for all day. But there's so much going on. The first thing I really want us to do is to pray and just say thank you to God for all the good that we see going on. None of it would happen without you guys. I know you guys are the ones who are doing the cooking, cleaning the toilets, helping a teenager put up a tent in the rain. You know, that's what you guys are doing, I know. So why don't we start by giving thanks. If I had to pick out one thing, the thing that just listening to that now, and I think the conversions and baptisms are amazing, but again and again came through to me this thing of raising up young leaders. And, you know, some of you know Lauren and Dan, who are leading here tonight, is a great example. They've been leading worship at students, young adults. They come through that themselves. And, you know, here they are. This is a great example of what's happening. And that's been the same since the first day, the number of leaders coming through. The Bournemouth Leadership Program that Lewis mentioned there, we're going to be talking much more about that over the coming weeks. It is our revamped intern program, as Lewis said. So if you know a school leaver or someone after university, they want a gap year of some kind, do mention the intern program to us. It's very exciting, and we'll be talking more about that in the weeks to come. In a moment, Debbie's going to come and lead us in prayer, but I'd love us to just take 2 or 3 minutes. Could we just turn our chairs next to the people who are with you in 3s, 4s? You know, let's be family here. Could you introduce yourself to the person, unless you came with that person? Don't assume they're going to know your name. Let's turn and let's just say thank you to God for some of this amazing stuff. Let's just give thanks, shall we? I know we could spend the whole time chatting, but let's pray and say thank you to God for all that's going on. Let's give God thanks.